Welcome to Acorn to Oak with Pennie Quaile-Pearce and co-host Matthew Donachie. Within each acorn, there is the DNA that strives to be a mighty oak tree. All it needs to reach its potential for greatness is to be activated. You are the acorn. On this show, we will share with you the tools and guidance you need to grow into the person you are meant to be. And now your host, Pennie Quaile-Pearce and co-host Matthew Donachie.
Hi, good evening. It's Pennie. I hope everybody's well and connected. Matthew's going to be a bit late. I think he's having problems connecting to the show, but hopefully he'll be with us soon. So you've got me. Isn't that wonderful? So what we're going to be discussing and talking about tonight, and depending on whether Matthew gets here or not, we may have time for creative visualization, is to actually talk about one of the main archetypes that we have present in our lives, and it's called the saboteur. And the saboteur is, comes up into our lives when we're stressed, when we're feeling like we can't connect to our authentic selves. And it can be a pretty amazing thing to actually have, and it's one of the most difficult parts of ourselves to understand. Its purpose is not really to sabotage us, but to help us learn the many ways in which we undermine ourselves. So, how often do we set plans in motion only to end up standing in our own ways? Because of the fears that undermine those optimistic plans. It's always the way, isn't it? It's very relevant. In the new year, we decide we're going to have, we're changing our lives, and, in the first few days, it's like, yes, these are my New Year's resolutions, and I'm going to lose weight, give up smoking, exercise more, I'm going to spend more time with my children, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that, and I'm never going to be late for work again. And, my financial goals is I'm going to earn, $10,000 a month or whatever it is. And then suddenly we begin to, the relationship that we have with our saboteur, and then we destroy all of these good intentions because we begin to imagine all sorts of different painful outcomes. Maybe, we've decided that we're going to go to the gym, but then we, the first week we're really good about it, and we go 3 times a week, and, we're beginning to enjoy it. But then, a friend may call us and ask us to go out for a meal. So, we decide not to go, and then we start to slip into different behaviours, and we then end up just, not going to the gym at all, although we've paid probably a few $100 or a few £100 for the membership. You begin you may begin a working relationship with another person. And once again, you find you're in a power struggle. That could be settled peacefully, but you fall into the same destructive patterns because you actually fear the other person, and maybe their skills are slightly different from you, and you begin to feel like, the low self-esteem comes up. And the saboteur's fears and issues are all related to low self-esteem that causes you to make choices that block your own empowerment and success. You need to face this powerful part of yourself that we all possess, and make it an ally, a friend. And when you do, you find it calls your attention to situations in which you are in danger of being sabotaged or sabotaging yourself. It's once you're comfortable with the saboteur, you learn to hear and heed the warnings that it will bring you, saving you, yourself untold grief from making the same mistakes over and over again. However, if you ignore it, the shadow saboteur will manifest in forms of self-destructive behaviour or the desire to undermine others. And it's one of the big 4 main archetypes that we all have in our lives. And, the other 3 we'll deal with it in different radio shows. But the other 3, just so you're aware, is, the saboteur, obviously, that we're talking about tonight, the victim, the prostitute, and the inner child. And I don't know if any of you know of Caroline Myce's work on archetypes. She's done some astonishing work and helps us all get to grips with these different types of energies, because that's all archetypes are. They're different energies that tend to be present in our lives. And we have 12 main archetypes that we're working with at any one time. And, the saboteur obviously is one of the most influential, I can't even say that. Where's Matthew? Influential characters that can be very, very prominent. And, I know within my own life, the saboteur has raised its head, and I should say the shadow saboteur has raised its head when maybe I'm taking on a new project or working on something, and I go into, like I was today, I'm in the middle of doing a new website, and the saboteur, or the shadow saboteur, tells me that I'm a techno nerd. In other words, I have no technical expertise whatsoever, which is actually not true. I can quite easily set up a new website with no 2 ways and not too much of a problem. It takes time. And wouldn't I just love to hand it on to somebody else? But the person Gemma, who does my admin, was not around today. So it was a case of suck it up, Penny. This is what you're doing. And so I was basically doing it. But it's amazing how the voices in your head will then turn around and say to you, you have no idea. Do I cut and paste this, or do I drag it and drop it? What am I actually doing? And I wouldn't necessarily be able to explain it all to you, but when I'm actually focused on it, it makes sense to me at that time. And hopefully you may well want to have a look at what are some of the work that I've been doing today, because one of the things for me right here, right now, is doing a little bit of rebranding, and I used the positive side of the saboteur today to actually look at it and go, well, what is it? What is the actual message that I want to get across to people? And I suppose for me, it's all about what the real truth is. And so I've, as I said, I've been working today on a new website, which is called The Truth Is. And, and it's very much about you using that statement, the truth is, the saboteur within us is alive and kicking. And as I was saying, if we don't make a friend of it, if we don't make an ally of it, that is when it will start to misbehave. So after the break, whenever we go into the break, what I would like to share with you is a creative visualization of going in and meeting your inner saboteur. And it's a helpful visualization to do purely for the reason that, we want to make a friend. And if we don't go within, we will go without the experience of meeting the saboteur and getting that saboteur on your side, so that you can do new projects without feeling like you're being sabotaged. You can talk to the inner saboteur, and the best way of dealing with energies that decide to, or you feel like you're being attacked by these energies, is to actually give it a different job. Give it a job to do, so that most energy likes to be in flow, and if you allow it to flow with guidance, it will be a huge creative experience for you. But if you don't give it a job, it will go and seek jobs. And because energy loves to be in flow, so it will actually manifest in the form, as I was saying earlier on, self-destructive behavior, or it will try and undermine others because it finds others competition. And again, it's just a case of, the shadow side of a saboteur just likes to be busy. And, the fact is sometimes we don't realize that we have these energies within us, and therefore we need to be able to use them constructively. It's like, I always look at the saboteur like my 2-year-old son. If he's not busy, he gets, his tendency is he likes to be busy. Therefore, if he's not, he will start being disruptive. He'll pick things up, or he'll start throwing things, or, he's a terrible tutor. And he just wants your attention. And therefore, when a 2-year-old, and I could pretty much say a saboteur sometimes behaves like a 2-year-old, they just want attention and love and guidance. And, if you're there 100% with them, that's great. But if you're not, that's when you start actually realizing, that they are misbehaving. Bored 2-year-olds are much like the shadow side of saboteur. So it's just really interesting when you look at the bigger picture. You start to realize that if you can get to know yourself on a real fundamental and authentic level, you can, as I was saying earlier on, negate a huge amount of untold grief, and making the same mistakes over and over again. So we'll be coming up for a break pretty soon, but after the break, what I would like to do is get you ready for that visualization. So we'll see you soon.
conscious connection to a more mindful world. OMTimes Radio, IOM FM. OMTimes Magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment, a philanthropic organization. Their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. OMTimes, co-creating a more conscious lifestyle.
I'm Kathy Williams, host of Sexy Mom Abundant Life radio show on Thursdays at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. On the show, we explore living abundantly in every area of your life. Ways to let go of limiting patterns and beliefs and to step into the flow of creativity and possibility, knowing you are supported by the universe.
We are talking about your life. Ever wonder, is this as good as it gets? No, it could be so much better. At Acorn to Oak, we know you are seeking more happiness, joy, unconditional love, financial freedom, passion, and purpose. Find your unique mojo and live an extraordinary life. Want to know more? Contact us at our website, acorntooak.org.uk.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Hi, so we're back from the break, and Matthew's managed to join us, which is really helpful. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to allow him some time to say hello, and we've been talking about the saboteur, Matthew, so we've just been talking about it, and what I've said we'll do at some stage. It may be at this stage, or it may be after the second break, where we'll do creative visualization for the listeners and to basically help them make a friend of the saboteur. So is there anything that you would like to say or add? Because I know obviously you've done work around your own saboteur. Oh, Matthew, we've just lost Matthew again. So hopefully he'll come back.
Yes, thank you. Just to say good evening to everybody. Good evening, everybody. Glad I made it. Having a slight technical issue. And yes, Penny, saboteur archetype has been certainly something I've done a lot of work on myself. And I think it's a really interesting archetype. It's almost like you can, or for me, I was sabotaging myself from success. And it was really interesting when you think, well, why would I do that? And it can be down to sort of experiences that you've had through perhaps childhood, around low self-esteem, which I had a lot around. And yeah, what shocked me was how the saboteur will, how much it can come in, and it's about making it a friend. It's a part of our personality which is created because of certain things we experience, and they're there to serve us. And when I first found out about them, they sounded all big and scary, like parts of our personality that aren't necessarily positive. But actually, sometimes the only way we can be taught is through the negative. So that's very much how I see archetypes is, especially saboteur, is it's creating a behaviour for you to become aware of, so that you can change it. And the work I've done with my saboteur, it's just fascinating. It really opens up a lot of understanding around how we work as people, and our minds and what we create. So for me, it's been an epic journey through the archetypes, especially saboteur, because it was one of my main ones.
I was sharing earlier on, Matthew, that
I hope that's helpful.
yeah, I was sharing earlier on that I've been doing some work on building a new website today, and it was really quite interesting because the saboteur was up, with its usual, mind chatter of, you're a techno nerd, you're never going to get this right, and etc., etc., etc. And maybe I should share with the listeners the reason I think I have those thoughts is when my husband is a web developer, and therefore whenever I see him working on the computer, he works at such a speed, and I know I can't work at that speed on a computer. I need time to get things right, but actually it was interesting, some of the inner dialogue I was having with the saboteur today, going, I am actually pretty good at this, and would you like to help me? And I'd just like you to find, help me try and find this information and how I'm going to be able to do that. And I ended up doing a lot of Googling on how to do this and how to do that. But it worked well. And the website, or the lead page, which I've used to build a small website, is up and published. It's moving. So obviously there's going to need to be some tweaks on it. But as I was saying, for me, it's very much about using that saboteur just to say, I've got a day to do this. I've got less than a day to do this. I actually started work on it around about 12 o'clock when I came back from having an appointment, and so it's worked well, and was actually the last tweaks were done at about 8:30 this evening. So it's obviously for us the show is at 9 o'clock at night. So it was about eight hours of work, but I've managed to get it done. So that's trying to get your saboteur on your side instead of sabotaging you with too many negative thoughts. So the saboteur is, the positive side of the saboteur is very, very quite positive. And as I said, you can get it working for you, but it's the shadow side of the saboteur which actually creates the problem and makes us do unhelpful behaviour again and again and again. So that's really a positive. Yeah. The visualization that we would like to do after the second break is about 10 to 15 minutes long, and just to prepare you so you're ready after the break is you want to be in a comfortable chair, or maybe lying down. I always love to lie down when I'm doing a visualization, but that's just me. And you may want to dim the lights, you may want to light a candle, and you also don't want to be disturbed by the dog, children, or anything else. So if you're listening to this not live but later on, just make sure you've got all of those things in place before the second break. Okay, so that you're ready to, as I say, hit the ground running. But, like everything, creative visualizations are just a way of practicing the future. They are, we tend to think that we have no idea what the future is going to hold. But one of the important tricks with using creative visualizations, it's a huge life hack, because you can practice exactly what you would like to create in the future. And it's like, any good coach, any good sports coach would tell you the same, is, the Olympic stars always visualize themselves winning, especially the really successful ones. Obviously, I'm thinking about the Olympics right now. And, the gold medal winners will always say to you, they visualized them going through, if they're a runner, the end tape, or, if they're a gymnast, they go through their routine and they visualize their routine, as well as physically preparing their body. It's about preparing the mind. Preparing our, everything. So, it's really, research shows us that if you've got someone sitting down, a pianist sitting down, and they're playing a piano, if they're visualizing it, the same parts of the brain light up as to if they were physically doing it, or if they are just mentally visualizing it. And so we know it works. Science has shown visualizations work. It's just, for me, with my client base, I think it's a very underutilized tool. I don't know what your thoughts on that, Matthew, are, but I think, we should be visualizing more and more and more, because the more practiced we are at the art of using creative visualizations, the easier it becomes. So, any thoughts on that, Matthew, if you're still with us?
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely love creative visualizations. I think I've got a few I do myself regularly, just on certain things in my life. And you're so bang on, Penny. It's with the creative visualizations. It's about I know we've mentioned on previous shows. It's about using the different senses to create the full experience of a visualization. So the primary concentration is with the third eye and sort of trying to visualize with that, but also while you're going through the creative visualization, if we mention a sound, or sometimes we talk about walking through a meadow as we're leading you in, and it's about sort of hearing the grass crunch or the leaves crunch under your feet, and smelling the air of maybe fresh cut grass. And I find you can really create and visualize your preferences, especially around business and how if you're working on a project, or you have a vision of a family life or a home, you can bring that in. But obviously, we're working with a saboteur and the archetype we're going to be working with. It's really sort of focusing and realizing the power of that you can actually go in and connect and meet with a part of yourself that you didn't know was there, that's there to help you, that at the moment initially seems as though it's not helping you. But as I said before, spirit is very gentle at first and will whisper in your ear and suggest you may do something different than what you're doing. And if you're not listening, then it'll start talking to you. And if you don't hear the talking, it'll start shouting. And if you don't hear the shouting, it will perhaps give you a clip round the ear, as we would say in England. And that's very much what the saboteur and other archetypes will do. They will call out and create sort of behaviours to make you realise what you're doing and how you're perhaps putting yourself off track. And that's the shadow side, and it'll manifest in the form of self-destructive behaviours to show you what you're doing wrong. The trouble is, unless you A, know about it, and B, connect with that part and actually get to know yourself better, then it can, like I say, lead to very self-destructive behaviours. So I love creative visualizations, and I think mixing the two up is just absolutely fantastic. I know we've done a few together, Penny, so I always love the visualizations, and I think they're just the power of them is exceptional. Whether you're going in to meet another part of self and working on that side of things, or whether you're just going on a journey just to explore your imagination. That's great. But also you can be specific around other stuff. I know you mentioned sports stars, so Formula One drivers, they will visualise their pole lap in order to try and gain pole. And if you've already seen it and heard it and felt it and smelt it, when you come to do it, it just rolls. It just seems to happen.
I think it's because it takes you.
Actually works.
Yeah, when you actually visualize it, you get to do it time and again, and therefore when the actual time has come to create your future, or to have that race, or to do that sports event, or whatever it is, you're in your comfort zone. There's no surprises, because you've already rehearsed it, and very much for me, I use creative visualizations every day of my life, because before I go to sleep, I've already rehearsed what I'm going to do when I first wake up, and it is therefore very easy. I wake up and, my son is lying next to me and my husband is on the other side of the bed, and it's just, waking up and picking out those magic moments and realizing that, I don't want to miss a moment, because, they are magic moments, and you string them together like a priceless, pearl necklace. And, it's very much the same with, running Acorn to Oak, is we rehearse. Me, 6 P's, planning and preparation prevent piss poor performance. And, it is with rehearsing, and making sure that actually there are no surprises, and it puts you into the zone where I don't know in America what you use to grease wheels, but we call it WD-40. So it's the WD-40 of the universe. Things go well. And therefore there are, as I said, no surprises, no suffering, no great angst or gnashing of teeth or beating of chests. And, when we realise that, if we can get into the flow of the universe, it is a delightful ride. Those wheels are greased, and, it's very comfortable. We don't have to bump down the road in an old banger, because we've greased the wheels and everything is working. And it is surprising how many people don't actually realise that life needs a certain amount of preparation, and planning. And once you've done that, this is why, successful people excel, is they realise they have to rehearse the future and rehearse what they would like to manifest in their daily lives. And once you've done it, it's magical, and it's amazing. You only have to miss a day or two and you suddenly realize, hey, why is life bumpy right now? And it's like, because I haven't been doing my daily practice or my daily routine of rehearsing how my commute to work is going to look, or how when I arrive at work everybody's really pleased to see me, and you don't just get grunts or shakings of heads. So we'll come back, and you may want a pen and paper by your side so you can write things down after the visualization. We'll see you after the break.
A conscious lifestyle for a mindful life. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM. Being a radio host on IOM FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network.
Hello, I'm Sandy Sedgbeer, host of OMTimes Magazine's flagship radio show, What is Going On? My passion is sifting through information, research and innovations from new thought teachers, speakers and researchers, pushing back the boundaries of what we know about life, energy, metaphysics and the universe. I love shifting perceptions about who we are, why we're here, and how quickly impossible becomes normal when we open our minds, expand our awareness, and accept that the only limits that exist are those we place upon ourselves. So if you're the kind of forward-thinking, eager investigator of what lies beyond the current reality that most perceive, why not make a date to come play with me in the field of possibilities at 4 p.m. Pacific Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time every Thursday, and together we can discover what's really going on.
We are talking about your life. Ever wonder, is this as good as it gets? No, it could be so much better. At Acorn to Oak, we know you are seeking more happiness, joy, unconditional love, financial freedom, passion, and purpose. Find your unique mojo and live an extraordinary life. Want to know more? Contact us at our website, acorntooak.org.uk.
Long ago, you wouldn't think of galloping on a horse while doing calligraphy, and you wouldn't have attempted to ride your bike while typing a letter. Yet you think you can safely operate a multi-ton vehicle while texting? Behind the wheel is no place to multitask. If you want to BRB, drive now and text later. Lives depend on it.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
So, hi, welcome back. So I hope that you are now sitting in a comfortable chair, lying down if you prefer. Make sure that you're not going to be disturbed, and have a notebook and pen at your side so that you can record your journey as soon as it's over. The other thing that you may want to do instead is narrate the journey into a tape recorder as it happens, or your iPhone or whatever it is, do an audio memo. So starting off, we just want you to tense and relax different muscle groups, and just start tensing the muscles in your feet. Tense, 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 and relax. Then tensing the muscles in your calves, tense, 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 and relax. Then tensing your thighs, tense, 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 and relax. Then tensing the muscles in your pelvis and your tummy, tense, 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 and relax. Then tensing the muscles in your chest and your arms and your hands, tense, 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 and relax. Then tensing the muscles in your neck and your face, tense, 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 and relax. And then the whole body, your feet, your legs, your arms, your hands, your pelvis, your chest, your neck, your face, tense, 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 and relax. And then I just want you to breathe in and out whenever, just in a nice natural rhythm. And in your mind's eye, I'd like you to see the colour red and the number 7. And just breathe it out. And then in your mind's eye, I'd like you to see the colour orange and the number 6. And just breathe it out. Then imagine in your own mind's eye the colour yellow and the number 5. And then just breathe it out. And in your mind's eye, I'd like you to imagine the colour green and the number 4. And just breathe it out. In your own mind's eye, the colour blue and the number 3, and just breathe it out. And then imagine in your own mind's eye the colour purple and the number 2, and just breathe it out. And then imagine in your own mind's eye the colour violet and the number 1, and just breathe it out. And I want you to imagine that you're standing in a corridor. The walls could be painted or wallpapered, or they could be brick. It doesn't really matter, but see it in your own mind's eye. You start to walk down that corridor, and you look up at the door at the end. And as you do, you look at the floor, which could be carpeted, it could be wooden, it could be tiled. Again, it doesn't really matter, but see it in your own mind's eye. As you arrive at the door, you look for the handle, which could be brass, it could be china, it could be wooden. Again, it doesn't really matter, but see it in your own mind's eye. You open the door and you find yourself in a beautiful woodland, and you notice there's a path. The sunshine dapples through the trees, and you notice many different shades of green in the leaves. Look at the path beneath your feet. It could be a grassy track, or a well-trodden earthen path, or covered with autumn leaves, or it could be the summer. What are you wearing on your feet? Listen to the sound around you. Maybe the birds are singing. The rustle of the leaves in the breeze. And there may be a scurry of small animals or a burbling brook. Breathe in the woodland smells. Use all your senses to make it come alive. So as you move down the path, you just notice everything that is around you. Follow the path wherever it leads you, till you come to a clearing. It is here that you will meet that part of you which grows through struggle. In the clearing there may be a tumble-down shed, or a fallen wooden trunk, or a large flat boulder. inside the shed or sitting on the tree, trunk or boulder, will be a person or creature or object. This is the part of you which grows through struggle and self-sabotage. Let it take whatever form it takes, allowing the imagination to become clearer as you approach it. Say hello to the saboteur in a friendly way. Tell it that you wish to learn how to become more aware of its actions, and ask yourself these questions. What fears have the most authority? What happens when that fear overtakes me? Does it make me silent? Do I allow people to speak for me? Do I agree that some things out of fear that I would otherwise not agree to? Have I let creative opportunities pass me by? How conscious am I in the moment that I am sabotaging myself? Am I able to recognize the saboteur in others? Would I be able to offer others advice about how to challenge one's saboteur? If so, what would that be? Wait patiently for the replies. The answers will come of thoughts, images, memories, sensations, or a sudden flash of intuition. Your mind may whisper, "You're just making it up." So be prepared for this. You may want to open your eyes and just jot some of the answers down, or you may wait and do that when you've finished. Recognize that the saboteur has been trying to help you grow in the only way it knows how. It's been trying to be your friend. So thank it for its help and explain that you are learning new ways of growing, which you believe will be more enjoyable and effective. Tell it that you wish to grow through joy from now on by reaching for your dreams, taking 100% responsibility, following your heart, releasing your creativity and genius, discovering more and more ways of your own wholeness. Ask the saboteur whether it will help you grow through joy and deal with any reservations it may have. Once it agrees to help, give it a new job to do. Perhaps it would like to send you a wake-up signal if you are harboring negative thoughts or beliefs, or blaming or forgetting to reach for your dreams. Or it may be making a simple task into a struggle. If so, agree on how it can gently send you a message. It's important to realize that nothing may come up immediately, and that's okay. Keep working with it, and one day you will get a message that quite literally changes your life forever. Now feel the love for this part of self and watch it as it is transformed by your love. It might become radiant with life or completely change its form. Finally, absorb it into your body, becoming one with that part of self again. Then stand up and continue down the path until you come to a waterfall in the heart of the forest. Hear the sound of the waterfall and feel the water splashing up against you. Now take off your clothes and step into the waterfall. Feel the water splashing around your head and body. Ask the waterfall to wash away any last traces of growing through struggle, to wash away any self-sabotage, martyrdom, any self-pity, any belief that the universe wishes you to suffer, and see the water become murky at your feet as your struggle, self-sabotage, and martyrdom dissolves into the water and are washed away forever. Tell the waterfall that you are now willing to grow through joy, courage, trust, and the vision that you are willing to love and be loved, that you are willing to create a heaven on earth and feel the spirit of the water surrounding you, adding its energy to your affirmation. You get out of the waterfall and find a fluffy towel on a nearby rock, and you lovingly dry off your body and notice it has changed. It is stronger, lighter, and more luminous. You dress and start back along the forest path. You notice that how you are walking has changed. It's lighter, more energized, more purposeful. You also notice that there is an excited anticipation and commitment to getting back to your everyday life, to implement the changes you've reaped and the benefits of doing the inner work. You see the door to the corridor. You reach for the handle and open it. Stepping into the corridor, you walk back the way that you came. With each step you take out, you come back into your body, back into normal time, back into this space, gently back into your room. When you're ready, stretch and wriggle your fingers and your toes and take another deep breath as you allow your eyes to open. Totally energized and energetically balanced, ready to live the rest of your life, you slowly sit up. Maybe take a drink of water. And you may want to record everything that took place on your inner journey. If you seriously want to use these tools to gain knowledge and understanding of self, both Matthew and I would highly recommend you write down a short reflection on the journey that you've just taken and the experiences you've just had. And there's 5 questions we usually use when we're looking at a reflection. You may want to write in your journal or a piece of paper or a scrap, whatever you need. And just describe what happened on that journey. What was good about it? What was bad about it? And what did you learn? What would you do differently next time? We'll see you next week. Thanks for joining us and take care.